Hello everyone. Razorblade Mango here. So, here we are once again for the Game Awards. So, I've been doing this for the last couple of years where I've looked over the nominees for the Game Awards and have just made a little video about what I think should win, what I would pick if I was the only one voting in this in this stupid thing, and what I think is going to win. Just again, a reminder: the Game Awards is not, if you unless you're somebody who's working in the industry, you shouldn't take these awards too seriously. Just because a game on here might win an award that I don't think deserves it doesn't mean it changes my opinion on the game that lost out on that award or the game that won it or any stupid shit like that. People that argue things like that on the internet really probably don't have very much of great importance going on in their lives to where they feel like what the Game Awards decides is the be all end all of their lives. So we're mainly just doing this for fun. You know, it is what it is. It's the Game Awards. As I always say, the dirty open secret of the Game Awards is that no one gives a shit about the awards. No one who actually is not in the games industry gives a shit about these awards. It's all about the world premieres. It's all about who Jeff Keighley can buy to get their games on his stage and all that crap. But for this video, we are going to be looking at the nominations, and like I said, I'm going to be talking about what I think should win in each category, if I have something to actually say about it, because I skipped a few of them. Like I skipped all the esports stuff, and I skipped content creator of the year because I don't know who any of those fucking people were. I know I'm out of the loop as far as like who's popular, but oh my god, when I look at this list of these content creators, I feel like such an old man because I look at these five people and I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are. Uh Sorry. I just sorry, children out there. I do not know who Elo Juan is. Techno gamers, typical gamer. Yeah, fuck, I don't know. I don't know who these people are. So this is not a category that I have any say in whatsoever, but we're going to start with most anticipated game of 2025. Granted, these all end up releasing in 2025, which the only one I would have questions about is GTA 6, but these other four should, comfortably fall in within 2025 region. I would hope Metroid Prime 4 comes out next year because holy shit, that thing has been in development for a ridiculous amount of time for what it is. So the five nominees are Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, GTA 6, Metroid Prime 4, and Monster Hunter Wilds. And for me, I can take these two out of the equation right away. I'm not looking forward to Monster Hunter Wilds because I don't really care for Monster Hunter. I have some skepticism about Metroid Prime 4 just because it's coming in as a very late gen Switch game, which hopefully this is cross gen with the next big Switch console or whatever Nintendo decides to call it. Hopefully it's not called stupid. But it's mainly these three that are vying for the top spot in my opinion, which shouldn't be a surprise if you know me. But the one game out of these that I am easily looking forward to the most, like if you were to put a gun in my head and say, hey, you had to play this, you had to pick one of these to play now, what would it be? And for me, it would have to be GTA 6 because GTA 6, Rockstar is like a sleeping behemoth. And whenever their games come out, it is a big deal for me. And look, I'm really excited about Death Stranding 2. I'm really looking forward to Ghost of Yotei. GTA 6, though, is in like a whole nother category for me. And as far as what I think is going to win, I think GTA 6 is comfortably going to win this award because it's Grand Theft Auto. That's why it's gonna win this award. So next we have Best Adaptation, which the only ones that I've seen on this list, I haven't watched season 2 of Arcane yet, even though I've heard mixed things about it. But I really liked the first season, but I don't think it's on here for that first season. It's obviously on here for season 2. Fallout is on here, which I thought was surprisingly pretty good. I haven't watched Knuckles because I just don't care. I couldn't even make it past the first episode of Like a Dragon Yakuza. I just thought it was dreadfully boring. And then this Tomb Raider show, I've heard okay things about. My main reason to watch it would be probably Haley Atwell, who I think is pretty perfectly cast as Lara Croft. But if I had to pick one out of these, it would be Fallout. And I think Fallout is going to end up winning as well. So that's another one where my personal pick and what I think the general consensus is going to be among the voters lines up. So next thing is Best Multiplayer. So we have Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, and Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. The one for me that is it's the most obvious pick for me is Helldivers 2. Because even though I don't really play Helldivers 2 all that much anymore, I loved what I played of it when it first came out. Everything went from like launch day to when they started fucking around with the balancing and stuff like that. All of that to me was just some of the most fun I've ever had playing a multiplayer game in my life. I mean, I can't stress enough how extremely rare it is for me and my group of friends who play video games online to our interests to line up and play something day one together that we all have to pay for. And not only that, but we all end up really, really enjoying it and playing it for a long stretch of time. And you guys know me in live services. I tend to put maybe like a few hours into one and then I bounce off of it, even if I like it, just because I can't dedicate my life to a game. It's just not how I'm wired. Helldivers 2, I probably have a good like 200 hours in as far as playing it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 200 hours at this point, because I absolutely loved Helldivers 2. I thought it was so much fun. Now, as far as what I think is going to win, I think it's going to come down to Helldivers 2 or Warhammer 40k. I don't think Super Mario Party Jamboree is going to be on it. I don't think it'll be Black Ops 6. Maybe Tekken, but I'm gonna force myself to pick one. I think Helldivers 2 is gonna win Best Multiplayer, just because of what a massive phenomenon it was when it came out. I mean, I always said that this game was going to be, I thought it was gonna be like a pretty decent success for PlayStation. I could not have imagined how successful this game was gonna be for PlayStation. It's wild how successful this game is for PlayStation. Even if they were to shut off all the servers tomorrow and just stop all production on Helldivers 2, it would still have been a massive hit for PlayStation. I mean, fucking 15, probably by this time, 15 million copies sold for an online-only game from a relatively niche franchise. That's extraordinary. So I think Helldivers 2 is going to win this. Next game, oh man, esports racing. I have nothing to say about this, so we'll skip. I have nothing to say about Best Sim Strategy, so I'll skip this as well. Oh, Best Family. This is, oh my god. Do I even need to read the... Fine, for consistency. So, Best Family Game. For the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. So we have Astrobot, Princess Peach Showtime, Super Mario Party Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and The Plucky Squire. This is another one where it's actually lining up with what I think the general consensus is quite well, what I think is going to win pretty consistently so far, where I think Come on, seriously? I mean, I think the one a lot of people could probably make a case for is probably, Echoes of Wisdom, which I haven't played yet. I assume it's good considering it's a Zelda game, but like, come on, really, really? I'll be shocked if Astrobot does not win this, and I think it deserves to win this because Astrobot is amazing. So, yeah. So, best fighting game. I'm gonna say I think Tekken 8 will more than likely win this one. Um, I played like a little bit of Tekken 8. I think I played one of the betas or tests or something, but I haven't played these other ones. But I think Tekken 8 is gonna comfortably win this. Okay, best RPG. So the nominees are Dragon's Dogma 2, Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree. I'll have more to say about that later. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. So, for the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. So these are getting taken off the board for me because I haven't played these. I'm in the process of playing Metaphor just because that's like my playthrough of this has come to a screeching halt just because I've been really busy with school stuff this past month or shit, like ever since middle of November. I don't even think I'm halfway through Metaphor. So, but what I've played of it is very good RPG. I just think best RPG for the best game design with rich player character interaction and character customization and progression. So between FF7 Rebirth and Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth, rich player character customization and progression. I don't know if I would say. I think both of these have really great RPG combat. And if I were to pick one but there is a class system. There's definitely like a really robust class system in Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth. But I think Rebirth has the more fun mechanics as far as the RPG gameplay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Rebirth on this one. Just because I think between which one I enjoyed playing more as far as the combat, I think Rebirth has the edge on Infinite Wealth. And I love both of these games, but I think Rebirth has the slight edge on Infinite Wealth. Sorry, Yakuza. So this is another one. Best action adventure. Astrobot, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which I did like. Silent Hill 2, which I really liked, surprisingly. Star Wars Outlaws and The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Oh, I forgot to say. I think Rebirth is gonna win this one as well. I forgot to say that. And here we are again with Little Astrobot, because while Astrobot does not have puzzles, I don't think it has puzzle solving. If it has any kind of puzzle solving, it really is a matter of finding the collectibles and finding some of the hidden stuff. That's really about as puzzle oriented as Astrobot gets. But combat, traversal especially, the tactile feeling of moving around in the controller is sublime. And I think it far outclasses these other four as far as what it means to be an adventure game. So I think Astrobot is going to win this as well, because Astrobot is, again, it's man, I have to like stop myself from gushing too much about Astrobot, because we still have more things with Astrobot in it. So best action game. For the game, best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat. So we have Black Myth Wukong, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, Warhammer 40k, Space Marine 2. So some people are probably going to get mad at me for this, but I'm going to pick Helldivers 2. And my reason for that, even though I've played Stellar Blade, is that I don't think Stellar Blade, I don't think the combat really comes together until maybe the last half of the game, or maybe even the last third, when you've upgraded a lot more of the basic abilities and you get more upgrades to moves you unlock later, and it provides a bigger challenge, because I think most of Stellar Blade is kind of easy. It's not until the last string of bosses where it really starts to push you to really utilize all of Eve's abilities. And I think then is when the combat really starts to sing. But if we're talking about consistency right out of the gate combat, how it feels, I'm going to go with Helldivers 2, because like I said, right the moment I got into the combat in the game, I loved it. And it just felt great to shoot at enemies. It felt amazing to dodge and jump out of the way of bugs and stuff like that, to pull off really crazy physics-based ragdoll moves that you can do in Helldivers 2. I love the combat in Helldivers 2, so that's why I'm picking it for best action game over Stellar Blade. But I think Stellar Blade is going to win this, because I think either Stellar Blade or Black Myth Wukong are going to win this, but I think Stellar Blade is going to win this simply because I think the people that are voting in this are probably going to look at these 5 and either gravitate more towards Wukong or Stellar Blade, simply because they're more focused on melee combat as opposed to shooting, like Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Warhammer 40k. So I think some of the bias among the voting is going to go swing either for Black Myth Wukong or Stellar Blade. But I think Stellar Blade's going to win that. Best VR AR game. I can't vote in this, even though I didn't hear Batman Arkham Shadow was pretty good as far as a VR game. I watched some of the cutscenes of it and I was impressed by how good they were. So well done to Camouflage. Trying to be cute with that spelling. Best mobile game. This is another one to me is so obvious, where it's like, okay, again, I'll read out the nominees. So AFK Journey, Balatro, Pokemon TCG Pocket, Wuthering Waves, and Zenless Zone Zero. I mean, Balatro is a great game. And I feel like if I had it on mobile, I would just become like a fiend of addiction for Balatro. I have it on the Switch, and even on the Switch, when I'm in the middle of one of my sessions with Balatro, I kind of have to remind myself, oh, I better put this down and continue with my day, or else I'm gonna get nothing done. Because Balatro to me is kind of a miracle, because it's mixes two things that I should hate by themselves: deck building and roguelikes. To me, that to me sounds like the worst game ever for my sensibilities. But for some reason, the whoever the developer is behind Balatro, the person, they found a way to meld these two things into something that I would normally hate, and made it something that is the most addictive thing I've played in a long time, as far as just a very simple pick up and play kind of thing, where it's easy to pick up, it's easy to play, but it has a ton of depth to it. I mean, you could get lost in Balatro for hours, which I have done before. When I first got it, especially, there was like one day where I just sat on my big chair in the living room and just played Balatro for like 4 to 5 hours straight. Like I was like Barney in The Simpsons, where I was like, just put it into my veins. So, as far as what I think will win, I think Balatro is going to win this, because it's Balatro and people love it. And I completely agree with that sentiment. I love it too. Best debut indie game. So we have Animal Well, Balatro, Manor Lords, Pacific Drive, and The Plucky Squire. And I think both my pick and what I think is going to win is Balatro, because again, Balatro was such a massive thing when it came out. People love Animal Well. That might have a chance, but I think more people are going to swing towards Balatro. I liked Animal Well, even though I don't normally like Metroidvanias, but I played it for about 2 to 3 hours, and I enjoyed my time with it. And then I put it down, and then I came back about a week later, and I had no idea where I was or what I was supposed to do next, and I just got frustrated and I quit. And I haven't gone back to it since. Even though I think it's the pixel art in this game is fucking incredible, especially since it's a solo developer. I love the mood of the game. I love the ambiance. It's just, I just wish it wasn't a Metroidvania, because that, to me, that's kind of my barrier to entry for Animal Well. And then Pacific Drive, I played a little bit of it. I didn't really like it. And then Plucky Squire. This is unfortunately a game. I played it. I started playing it right after Astrobot, and I was actually really looking forward to the Plucky Squire, because I thought it looked like a brilliant concept, and I still think at its core, Plucky Squire is a brilliant concept. But I personally don't think it pushes its concept as far as I had hoped it would, and it comes across as more routine compared to the wide amount of creativity in something like Astrobot. Like, going from Astrobot to the Plucky Squire is like coming home to your house after an amazing vacation. You just kind of look around and you go, oh, yeah, this is all right, but it ain't it ain't some amazing remote mountainside resort with lavish scenery and servants that feed you breakfast in bed and stuff like that. So, but I think Balatro is easily the best debut indie game of the year. I think it's gonna win, because it's Balatro. So then we have best independent game. We have Animal Well, Balatro, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Neva, and UFO 50. I think Balatro is gonna win this. I agree with the choice if it does, because I love Balatro. Neva, I still need to play this. My thing with Neva is that I feel like I know how it's going to go, and I kind of go, yeah, it's a girl and her giant wolf, and the wolf will probably die at the end to do, sacrifice or something. I don't know, and then that wolf will give birth to a cub or something. I kind of like see how it goes in my head. I might be wrong, for all I know. I was wrong about how The Last Guardian was going to go. I was convinced for years that Dogbird was going to die at the end of The Last Guardian. It seems so obvious to me, but that didn't happen. So I'll get around to Neva eventually, but I think Balatro is going to win this as well. Damn, a lot of Balatro love in this video. Anyway, so we have best community support. So recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates / patches. So we have Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14 Online, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky. This category is always tough for me, because I feel like it's nearly the same entries every year, aside from one or two ones that are popped in just to kind of spice it up. And I feel like Helldivers 2 was kind of that one to spice it up. And under different circumstances, I would have picked Helldivers 2. However, as I mentioned earlier, they started fucking around with the balancing of the game. And this became a big problem within the community for a number of months. And they did a terrible job of responding to fan feedback until their back was kind of against the wall, when I think it was the what is it called, Liberation of Freedom update came out in June or July, and they just did the dumbest crap. I couldn't to this very day, I still do not understand who came up with the idea on the Arrowhead team to have their battle pass that was tied to that update be all about flame-based weapons, and then nerf the flame-based weapons, some of the best weapons in the game before the flame-based patch came out. That's like that is such a stupid fucking idea that I think even if you don't play Helldivers 2, just think about this. You are going to nerf fire damage in your game before putting out a battle pass that is based around fire damage. Do you see the problem with that? So because the backlash was so strong and because there was the Helldivers 2 community, love them or hate them, are very vocal when it comes to what they do and don't want. And I feel like for the majority of this year, until they came out with the big balance update in September, they did a horrible job of recognizing and responding to what the community wanted. It was almost like they told the community, no, this is how we see the game. What you guys think really doesn't matter, so you're going to have to like it. And the community kind of went, fuck that, and responded with so much ire that they eventually were forced to do it. Now, to their credit, that big balance patch that they put out in September was fantastic. And it thankfully reverted a lot of the dumb shit that they had changed in the game over the past 4 months since they first started fucking around with it at the beginning of March. So anyway, it's Helldivers 2 I think is in a very good state now, even though I don't play it frequently as much as I used to. I keep up with it because it's the only modern PlayStation live service that's actually successful beyond like Gran Turismo and MLB, which I don't really count those just because those are PlayStation mainstays. But if we're talking new live services within this big live service initiative that they fucking went to town about, this is the only one that's successful. So I keep a very close eye on it. So this is a long-winded way of saying I will not be picking Helldivers 2 with this. So again, it just falls back to some of the usual suspects, where it's Final Fantasy 14 online, Fortnite, No Man's Sky. I think this year I'm probably going to pick Baldur's Gate 3 because I'm still waiting for them to finally finish updating this thing and adding new stuff into it so I can finally play it without thinking like, oh god, now there's more added to it, so I'm going to have to redo the game to figure it out and whatnot. I just want the game to finally be out and just done with updates. But I love that they keep updating the game and they don't charge a penny for it. Now, this is applied to Fortnite and No Man's Sky as well, but Baldur's Gate 3 came out extremely strong, even without all these updates. But the fact that they're still adding more, they're adding new cutscenes, they're adding new dialogue, they're adding new epilogues and stuff like that, that's great. As far as what I think is going to win, I think Fortnite is going to win just because of the big events they always host in Fortnite and stuff like that. So that's why I think Fortnite's going to win this. But if I had to pick, I would pick Baldur's Gate 3. So now we have Best Ongoing Game, where it's awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. We have Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 14 Online, Fortnite, and Helldivers 2. I think Fortnite is going to win, and I think Fortnite should win just because of how... Even though I don't play Fortnite, like, I rarely pick up Fortnite these days, I'm very impressed by how significantly they're able to make turnarounds on the game and come out with new stuff quickly and new free events and shit like that. It really is impressive how Epic is able to do this and maintain the quality of the game. Like, because I very rarely hear any controversies about Fortnite, at least anything that really breaks out into the general stratosphere. So I think Fortnite's gonna win. I think it deserves it. Games for impact. Oh joy, my favorite category. So for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. So I've always had a problem with this specific category because rather than the games that actually do have, deep social messages to them, I feel like these are where they put the games that it's like, oh, you have some themes in here, you have issues, you have a gay character, you have a trans character, but we're not actually going to put you in like consideration for game of the year. Rarely we're going to do that. So here you go. You can just be in the games for impact category, which I always think is kind of I personally think it's a pretty demeaning category. But at least with this year, some of these entries actually make sense to me with them being in here. Like, even though I kind of hated it, I understand Hellblade 2 being here. I understand Indica being here because it is a rather interesting exploration of religion. I don't know what closer to the distance is. I don't know what this is. Neva, I don't know what pro-social meaning or message this has. Life is Strange Double Exposure, I assume it's because there's a trans character in it. Tales of Kenzaro Zao, it's an all-black cast that is an exploration of grief. Guess? Pro-social meaning or message? Guess? It's like, again, it's like, well, Tales of Kenzaro Zao, you know, it's not game of the year worthy, but we're gonna stick you in here. My issue with it this year is that I feel like some of the games that are actually nominated for multiple awards do deserve to be in this category, such as Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I actually think is a very powerful exploration of mental health, psychosis. It's about having a very powerful, how having a really positive and powerful support system around you can lessen the effects of depression, lessen the effects of a mental health issue for somebody. I think it's very powerful about it because what Cloud is going through in the game is basically a subtext for psychosis. You have a game like Silent Hill 2, which I don't think... I think it's... As far as depth, if we're talking about depth with symbolism and writing and character development and visual storytelling, blows all 6 of these out of the water. So I don't know why Silent Hill 2 isn't here. Even Metaphor ReFantazio, which I know people are sick to death of, like, leave politics out of my games, but I think Metaphor ReFantazio is a great example of how you can thoughtfully and intelligently explore politics in a game, because Metaphor ReFantazio is very obviously about racism and discrimination and classism, but it doesn't do it in a way that's like a sledgehammer to your face. It's there, it's present, but it's very skillfully massaged into the story. And it's not delivered to the player, again, with this screeching ham-fisted message, like the way Dragon Age the Veilguard does. Something like that. So I think this category is stupid. It always will be stupid. And I don't think most of the nominations this year make that much sense. But I'm gonna go with Indica. If I had to pick one, I'm gonna go with Indica. If what I think will win, it's probably gonna be Hellblade 2 because it's a game. It's general conceit is that it's like, oh, it's an exploration of psychosis. It's very on the nose, even though I don't think Hellblade 2 explores it anywhere near as effectively and tastefully and sensitively as Hellblade 1 does it. Hellblade 2 to me is more like a needlessly like loud, dumber version of Hellblade 1. So I think Hellblade 2 is going to win, but I think Indica should win because Indica was rather interesting, even if I didn't like love it like some people did. Innovation in accessibility, recognizing software, hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. So we have Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Diablo 4, Dragon Age of the Veilguard, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and Star Wars Outlaws. So I'm just gonna pick the one that I played, which is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, even though I don't really remember any big accessibility things in Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown that was really all that crazy. I don't remember. Maybe there was some stuff. I mainly just left the game alone and just played it on the normal difficulty without any kind of stuff to help me. But as far as what I think is going to win, I think it's going to be Dragon Age the Veilguard because their accessibility options in this game they're extensive. So I think the jury is gonna look at that and swoon over Dragon Age's accessibility options. So that. Oh, best performance. Okay, so the nominees are Brianna White for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You have Hannah Tell, or Telly, I don't know, for Life is Strange Double Exposure. You have Humberly Gonzalez for Star Wars Outlaws. You have Luke Roberts for Silent Hill 2. And you have Melina Jurgens for Senua's, or I'm not reading the fucking subtitles first, for Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga. I have one question. Why are these two here? I guess more specifically, why is Humberly Gonzalez for Star Wars Outlaws here? Why? Why is she here? And yet Angela from Silent Hill 2 or Cloud's voice actor from FF7 Rebirth isn't here. Or Kiryu's voice actor from Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, who I thought, compared to him and the actress who voiced Angela in Silent Hill 2 Remake, gave the two best performances of the year. For my money. Easily. The two best performances. And yet, no offense to her as a person, and I'm sure she did an okay job as the character, but seriously? We're putting the lady who played that main character in Star Wars Outlaws over Silent Hill, Angela and Silent Hill 2, over Kiryu, over Cloud. Fucking really? Like, seriously? I mean, Brianna White being here, yeah, that's yeah, she's great. Luke Roberts being here, he's great in Silent Hill 2. I didn't really care for her, Melina Jurgens. I didn't really care for her performance this time around because not really her fault. She was just saddled with bad material. But it's these two I mainly have an issue with because it's like, okay, I'm sorry, just objectively, I don't think these two deserve to be in the best performance category this year. For me, it comes down to Brianna White or Luke Roberts. It's a shame that the actress who played Tifa isn't nominated either, because I thought she did an excellent job. So it's Luke Roberts, Silent Hill 2, or Rebirth. Oh, this is tough because I think they both give great performances for different reasons. Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna go with Brianna White. I'm sorry, Mr. Roberts. I think she's incredible as Aerith. I think Luke Roberts, he did a great job as James. He did a much better job than I was expecting as James. But Brianna White was just I'm gonna really miss her as Aerith. As far as who I think is gonna win, I think Melina Jurgens is gonna win because it's a very like showy graphics based performance where I think a lot of the voting party are gonna look at Melina Jurgens and go, wow, so realistic. Look at her eyes. Look at her nose. Look at her teeth. Look at those amazing Unreal Engine 5 scans that they did of Melina Jurgens. I just don't think they're going to choose any of these other four just because of how much of a graphical showcase Hellblade 2 is. That's just my cynical take on it, but I think that's what's going to end up happening just because I think she's the favorite to win. Even though I think Brianna White or Luke Roberts, I wouldn't mind if either of these two won, but I think it's going to be Melina Jurgens. Best audio design. So recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. We have Astrobot, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2. And I am sorry to my beloved Astrobot. I love you. I love the sound design. But I'm going with Silent Hill 2 Remake. Because Silent Hill 2 Remake even though it does take a lot from the original, it has the best sound design I've heard all year, without question. It's a game that has such amazing sound design that it gave me a nightmare, which never happens with video games for me. And it was so effective that I thought I experienced an auditory hallucination at one point. That's how good the sound design in Silent Hill 2 is. So sorry, little Astrobot. I love the sound. I wouldn't even mind if it won, but I think Silent Hill 2 is the best one. But I think Hellblade 2 is gonna win this one because of the binaural audio that people fall over themselves to praise in Hellblade 2. So I think Hellblade 2 is gonna pick this one up as well, which is unfortunate because I think Silent Hill 2 or Astrobot winning would be, I think it's more deserved than Senua Saga or Hellblade 2, because I think Hellblade 2, while like from a technical perspective the audio design is really good, the way they use it this time around is much more annoying. It's less immersive and more annoying. And again, it doesn't have anything to do with the technical quality of the audio. It has to do more with game design and the writing. Moving on to best score and music. So this is another area where I just have a lot of problems with what they consider best score and music, because 3 out of these 5 games have music that has already been in other games, which I think skews. I think it really. I feel bad for Metaphor, ReFantazio, and Stellar Blade, because I think they both have good soundtracks. I just don't think they're as good. It's unfair to compare these two to giants like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Silent Hill 2. And even though Astrobot does have a lot of original music that is like just unbelievably good, really, like Kenneth C. M. Young, he really outdid himself with the score. It does feature a lot of tracks from either Rescue Mission or both Rescue Mission and Astro's Playroom. So I just don't like including like obviously legendary scores like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Silent Hill 2 among games that have all new original soundtracks like Metaphor, ReFantazio, and Stellar Blade. But if I had to pick one that I felt like had the best score overall, I'm going to go with Astrobot on this, simply because it does have a lot of original music in it. And yeah, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has some original music. Silent Hill 2 has some original music, but not to the quantity and quality, I think, of Astrobot. But as far as what I think is going to win, I think Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to win just because it's Final Fantasy VII. I mean, it's like this is just what, even if you subjectively do not like the music of Final Fantasy VII, which I don't know what's wrong with you if you don't, you have to, it's undeniable that Final Fantasy VII objectively has a legendary score in the video game medium. It's like water is wet, the sky is blue. Final Fantasy VII has an amazing soundtrack, or a legendary iconic soundtrack. Yeah, it's obvious. So I think Rebirth is going to win, but I would prefer if something with much more, a greater focus on original music would win. And I'll give that to darling little Astrobot. So best art direction. So for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation, we have Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Metaphor ReFantazio, and Neva. So this one to me is, even with the very good art design of Neva and Metaphor ReFantazio, I'm going to go with Astrobot because I think Astrobot, like I've said, is the best of both worlds, where it does have a very striking artistic design. I think its animation is just it's every time I go in and play Astrobot, I'm always finding new little hidden animations and cute things that the developers have kind of snuck in there that are like a little hidden that you see. And I think there's just so many instances of clever animation and just very funny, cute things in this game. But it also has, from a technical perspective, a marvelous graphic. It's a marvelous graphical display for the PS5, where it looks incredible. It has great like reflections. The lighting is excellent. It runs at like a near flawless 60 frames on PS5. It's colorful. I assume, I don't have an OLED TV, but I assume it looks like a dream on an OLED TV. Just so much vibrancy, so much color, and it just, for my money, it's the mix of, you know, both creative and technical achievement, like it's mentioned in the description for best art direction. As far as what I think is going to win, I think Metaphor is going to win simply because it has that signature Atlas flair to it, and it's great. Don't get me wrong. The art direction in Metaphor ReFantazio, I think, is great. It's unique. It's stylish. It has that signature Atlas flair. But I just think Astrobot is the mix. It's like the best of both worlds, like I said. So here we are. We have best narrative, which for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game, we have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we have Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, we have Metaphor ReFantazio, we have Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and we have Silent Hill 2. I can't vote for Metaphor ReFantazio because I haven't finished it yet. I definitely don't think Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga has an outstanding story. I think its story is actually really bad. But then that leaves us with Silent Hill 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. And this is, again, it's like, you have a remake in here. You have Silent Hill 2, which we already know has a great story. We've known it has a great story for like 20 plus years. Why is this here when something else could have been subbed in that had a better story or a more original narrative? I'm just saying. I just think the awards this year are way too crowded with like remakes and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. There's a part of me that wants to vote for Silent Hill 2 because I think if we're talking consistency, if we're talking about how I felt from beginning to end, I feel like Silent Hill 2 maybe is the most consistent as far as the story, because I have issues with the endings of both of these games. And I guess I have an issue with the ending of Silent Hill 2 because I think the letter that Mary reads, like the delivery is just so flat compared to the original. So it's like all three of these, I love the stories until like the final moments. So I guess if I'm going with it in that criteria, based on which story I would want to go through again and which one I think has the most consistency as far as being compelling, it's going to come down to me, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And both of these games impacted me very strongly as far as their narratives go. So, damn. I'm not going to cop out and flip a coin or anything like that. But between Rebirth and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, I'm gonna go with Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth in this, because while Rebirth's story impacted me very strongly, I do think it fucks around a little too much with some of the more, like, let's just say Tetsuya Nomura tendencies that Kingdom Hearts unfortunately sometimes dabbles in. It does do that, like the multi-narrative, multiverse kind of thing, a little not as successfully as I think they did it in Remake, especially during the last, like the finale of the game, which I'm a little more mixed on as time has gone on. I still love Rebirth's story, don't get me wrong, but it's just it doesn't quite stick the landing that I think I wish that it had. If I'm hindsight, and if I'm being 100% honest with myself, even though I love Rebirth. And I could say the same thing for Infinite Wealth, but it's more like the last 5 minutes of Infinite Wealth that I think are pretty crap compared to it's like the epilogue that you could very easily miss, versus Rebirth, which is like the last 10th of the game that gets a little shaky. So I'm gonna go with Infinite Wealth on this one. So okay, so I think these are the final two, where we're gonna have Best Game Direction, awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. So we have Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. Okay, like, yeah, Little Astrobot. I think Astrobot, you know what? I'm going to stick my neck out for Little Astrobot. I think Astrobot's going to win Best Game Direction. Because I think a lot of the voters are going to look back on these games, unless they're like so blown away recently by any of these, like Metaphor or Shadow of the Erdtree. I don't think they're going to go for Black Myth Wukong. I'm sorry for the friends and fans out there that are going for this game. I love Balatro, but I don't think that's going to win. I think Astrobot is going to win because it's like, if we're talking just pure like statistics on Metacritic and OpenCritic, it's the most highly acclaimed game of the year. I know I hate going by numbers, but that's just how I'm going to do this with my reasoning. I think people are going to look at Astrobot and they're just going to immediately have that, like, it feels right to pick Astrobot. That's just the best way I can explain it. And for as far as like my decision, my reasoning why I would pick it, isn't it obvious? Like, it's fucking obvious. And then it's the same thing if we go to Game of the Year. It's the same ones. And I'm picking Astrobot with that, because I think Astrobot is going to win Game of the Year. As far as Shadow of the Erdtree being here, and this is probably the biggest controversy that has popped up with the Game Award nominations this year, if I'm throwing my hat in the ring as far as what I think of this, I don't think Shadow of the Erdtree belongs on here. It's a DLC. It would be one thing if Shadow of the Erdtree was a separate thing that you don't need Elden Ring to play, but you need to get pretty far into Elden Ring. You need to be pretty powerful, and you got to jump through some hoops to get to, the expansion, and you have to own Elden Ring, and you have to spend another $30 on it. I just don't think an expansion deserves to be here. And look, I love the expansions to The Witcher 3, for instance, like Blood and Wine, Hearts of Stone. I love both of them. Even if Blood and Wine and Hearts of Stone were better than most of the games that came out the years they came out as well, I still would not put them in Game of the Year consideration, because they are expansions. They are add-ons. If you want to put Elden Ring into best ongoing game based on the expansion, then so be it. I don't have a problem with that. But that leads me to wonder, like, why isn't the Final Shape here from Destiny 2? Why wasn't Phantom Liberty on here last year with Cyberpunk? Or I think that was last year. Why does Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree get special treatment for this thing? And I wonder, I know Jeff Keighley says that he doesn't have any part in, picking these awards. It's all the jury, but I just really seriously question their criteria for what kind of criteria they're going on, where it would allow for Shadow of the Erdtree to be on here, when past expansions of other games have not been recognized in Game of the Year, even though they've been critically acclaimed and beloved by players like Shadow of the Erdtree is. I just don't get it. I don't get why Shadow of the Erdtree is here and not something like a Dragon Infinite Wealth or Stellar Blade or something else that, or Animal Well, that was highly acclaimed and is an original game. It's a major achievement it's a solo developer. I feel like Animal Well, even though I didn't really like click with it like I was hoping I would, I think that has a more, I think that is more worthy of being here than Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. And some people, fans of Elden Ring are gonna get mad at me, but that's fine. I just don't think it deserves to be here. And I'm kind of annoyed that they allowed this to happen and push a different game out. Not even necessarily like a Dragon Infinite Wealth or Helldivers 2. But they really just I think Helldivers 2, like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Animal Well, I think any of those three deserved a spot here more than Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. So anyway, and as far as what I think is going to win Game of the Year, unless for some reason the people want to get spicy and really put Jeff Keighley in some crosshairs, they'll pick Shadow of the Erdtree. But I don't think they're going to pick Shadow of the Erdtree. I think they are going to pick Astrobot. I think Astrobot is going to win Game of the Year, and I completely agree because it is the best game. Not only the best game I've played all year, it's the best game I've played in years, plural. So there you go. Those are my thoughts or as I'll call it, my stupid picks for the stupid Game Awards. So thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you all Thursday evening for what will hopefully not be an embarrassing mess like it was last year. See ya!